Hi, we're Charles.
And Angela,
We want to share a little from our lives.
and hope that our experiences might benefit you in some way.
So let's go. Let's go.
On today's episode, we're going to discuss, are you ready to retire?
Most importantly, if you're married, make sure your spouse is in agreement with you. This is a decision that must be made together.
Absolutely. Retirement is not just a financial decision. It also is social, psychological, and emotional. Comes into play in a big way, much bigger than most of us anticipate.
So, here are some of the things that we considered.
It's time to do what you always wanted to do. It's exciting. We never had the time before. Few of us in our work life these days only work 40 hours a week, especially when commute time is added if we live in a larger city as we did. Many people that we know will work 50, some 60. I even know people who work 70 plus hours a week. There is little time left over for family and fun.
How about the state of your health? Has your health changed, making your work schedule a little more difficult? Unexpected illnesses, maybe? The 3 years before we retired, I had 6 surgeries.
How about other needs such as family care? Maybe you have grandchildren that you would like to spend time with, and your children need care for their children, and you get an opportunity to be that grandmother that spends a lot of time with their grandkids. Or maybe, as in our case, you have elderly parents that need care. For instance, my dad had a stroke and needed constant care, and both of our moms suffered with dementia.
What happens if your job plays out? I mean, this was something that happened during the COVID restrictions a lot. Um, the customer base gets wiped out, and all of a sudden the job just collapses. That's another consideration for going into retirement.
Yes, I read that many people went into retirement simply because their job played out and they couldn't find another one, and they found that they were enjoying not getting up and going to work, and they found ways to make it work. And we'll talk about that later. But continuing on, how about you're no longer finding that fulfillment in your job? And maybe you're a little old to start another job, or maybe there just isn't another job there for you.
And that time factor comes back into play again. How about having time to travel and time for family who just doesn't live nearby? So you have to have time to play with so you can get to them.
Do you wish you had more time to volunteer? Churches, charities, schools, they all depend on volunteers.
And what if you're not retired but just plain out tired? And I mean, what you're waiting for is that magic age, that number that pops up and says, okay, now you can retire.
So, we've gone over the reasons you may want to retire, but here's how to tell if you're ready.
Okay, first of all, are you financially prepared? How about your social security income, your 401k, IRAs, pension plans, savings, all of that sort of thing? Are they sufficient to maintain the lifestyle that you live now? Or do you need to plan on working at least a part time job during retirement?
Have you eliminated debt, especially high interest credit card debt? That is huge. Do you have a house or a car payment? Some people are able to have a family home that they can sell or stay in. And some people have their cars paid off. Some people will always have car payments sooner or later, or else pay cash for a car because cars don't last forever. But all those things come into play. But especially the high interest credit card debt could be devastating in retirement.
Do you plan to stay in the same city where you presently live? Or are you going to move? If you're going to move, you need to consider not only the sale of your house, but also the cost of moving from one location to the next.
What about health insurance? Are you old enough to qualify for Medicare? I really wanted to retire a year earlier than we did.
Cougar.
I was actually old enough at that time. But Charles did not have medical insurance at his job. I was carrying the medical insurance for both of us. So therefore, I had to wait and retire with him.
And how about the networks that you have in place? I'm not talking about social media, but I'm talking about the family network that you might have where you live. How about your social networks, the friends that you have where you live now? As for us, a lot of our friends came from our work. So when we retired, the ties that we had in these social networks they weren't ended, but they just weren't quite what they were before. That sort of thing. So you have to consider what impact it's going to have on your family and social network.
Do you have plans for fulfilling activities or hobbies in retirement? Are there things you're interested in, but you just haven't had time to do it while you're working? There are many people who don't think about that, who don't have things they're interested in, hobbies or activities planned. They end up going back to work because they just find themselves bored and they don't seem to have a reason to get up every morning. Have you created a bucket list for perhaps travel or things you would like to do with friends and family? Perhaps you think it's better to test the waters and retire in stages. In that case, you may consider some of the following.
How about a hobby that's going to become a part-time job? I have a friend where we lived who, in his case, had his job fold on him, like I was talking about earlier. And he began to pick up a hobby where he was volunteering. And that particular activity actually became a part-time job for him.
I was a teacher. Many teachers over the years, as I worked, that were friends and older than me, I watched them retire at the end of one year, and then I would see them back year after year following that because they came in as subs. They could work when they wanted to, and it gave them extra income, and they kept the social and the friends at work.
If your job offers the opportunity, you might be able to convert from a full-time position to a part-time position. But you need to know your present job. You need to know the specifics before you make that decision.
How about beginning your own business? I have a family member who is a good bit younger than me. She has already started a part-time business in her home so that whenever she retires, she hopefully will have that business built up, and that will give her her extra retirement income that she needs.
I kind of addressed this before, but how about volunteer positions that sometimes have a possibility of leading to part-time work?
How about childcare or elderly care? On our next door list, we constantly have people inquiring about childcare or someone to care for their elderly parents while they're at work when they no longer can be trusted not to wander off during the daytime.
If you enjoy getting out and getting around, maybe you should consider being an Uber driver, okay? Or maybe food delivery appeals to you. Now, for me, food eating appeals, but I don't know about the delivery part.
Yeah. Many people, me included, us included, are looking for pet sitters or dog walkers. We like to travel, and we have no family or friends right here who are able to keep our dogs. So that would be a valuable aid for us.
Yeah. Perhaps you really like the outdoors and enjoy working in the yard. You could consider maybe doing some light yard work for someone, or if you're in the right climate, doing some pool cleaning.
Or maybe you love the look and smell of a clean house. House cleaners make excellent money these days.
And fast food places are begging for help, and they often start at $15 to $18 an hour.
There's an elderly lady who works at the Culvers that we enjoy visiting, and we look forward to seeing her every time we go. All she does is walk around and greet the customers, and while they're at the tables eating, she will get a refill for their drink, ask them if they need anything, and then wipe down the tables, bust the tables. The people usually throw their own garbage away, but she will wipe down the tables after they leave, and that's her whole job. And we just love her. We've gotten to know her, and she's gotten to know a lot of the customers, and she loves what she does.
Of course, you can always say, "Welcome to Walmart." Now, some of you may find that funny, but it's good to be greeted by someone with a ready smile. And many times it's a retirement age group that works this job, whether they're welcoming you into the store or helping you check out, either one.
Thank you for joining us. In our next video, we'll discuss Social Security, the details involved in investigating and implementing your retirement income from Social Security.
Remember, retirement is not the end, but a beginning.
If you have questions, please ask them in the comment section below. We would be delighted to share anything we can with you.
So click like
And subscribe so you'll be alerted when a new video is posted.
and let's discover the possibilities that lie ahead for you.